Spotlight TV. This is Zadrian Smith, and today I'm joined by the two pretty boys, Pied Pipers, DJs, audio coming soon. My boys, Emmanuel Lawal and Ashton Gohill. What's up?
Hey man, you good?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're well. Yeah.
So excited for this interview. You guys are literally like Petri family. You've been with us since the inception of the magazine, and really appreciate your support, wholeheartedly throughout our journey. So now it's time for our viewers to learn about who you guys are, where you are, and what's next for you guys as individuals, as artists, and what's the next chapter as we begin to come out of this pandemic. So let's start off by talking about you individually. We can go in alphabetical order. Ashton, tell us a little bit about, who you are as an individual, your background, and then Emmanuel, we'll toss it over to you. And then I would love to know how you guys came together.
Sure. So, I'm born and bred in London. I started modeling at 16. And I think I met Emmanuel when I was 18. And then from there we started, we became friends. And then a year or 2 years later, we decided to make Audio Coming Soon, which is obviously the two of us. And since then, we've still carried on doing our own separate thing, but also doing audio as an entity. So yeah, that's me really. And I mean, I'm modeling. I've been modeling nearly 9 years now.
How have you found modeling?
Yeah, I think for me, and it's different for a lot of people that I started with. I think for me, as the years have gone by, it's become easier, and I've started to make more money as the year goes by, and my career has excelled. A lot of boys, it's like you start and you blow up really quickly, and then you go downfall, and then you get a full-time job, and then you're out modeling. But for me, I feel like I've been a steady progress. I've grown up a bit, and my clients have been building, and as I've got older, it's just got a lot easier, and so it's a blessing really. Yeah.
And your background, your father's Indian, Gujarati Indian, and your mother is
British.
English. And you've never been to India before?
No, I've been to India. I've never been. He's born in Africa, which I've never been to Kenya, where he's from.
Can you dissect that connection a bit? Because I think a lot of people don't, that's something that I didn't know, that, there was a whole, what you were telling us, the Indians in Africa. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of just talk about how your family...
A lot of people in the 60s and 70s from India moved over to East Africa and then had obviously children, which is where my dad and my uncles were born in Kenya. And then they grew up in Tanzania, which is a neighboring country. And then from there, they spent a few years and then they came over to England. But a lot of people you speak to who are Indian actually have their parents are born in Africa. And the same with Pakistani as well.
Okay. And speaking of Africa, Emmanuel, you're from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So tell us about your family tree, how because you've also modeled as well, and how you got into, because you said that your family has a background in music, so how that has influenced you transitioning in from modeling to the music side of things.
Yeah, sure. So both parents are Nigerian. My mum has a bit of Ghanaian here, a bit of Kenyan there, but yeah, predominantly Nigerian. Born in London, born in actually Croydon actually. So actually that isn't London, but yeah, born in the UK. And yeah, man, we both have a sense of influence when it comes to music in our families. My cousins are managers, artists, engineers. So yeah, it's quite a musical family.
So did you, growing up, what kind of music was playing around the house? Who were your influences?
It's hard to say really, because there's so much. It spans from Nigerian Yoruba music to R&B. My older cousin at the time loved Marcus Houston, so that was early in the household, the first wave of real R&B. And then obviously, you've got parents who are just playing anything that sounds like, pots and pans connecting with each other. So yeah, it was some kind of I wouldn't say it was Afrobeats at the time, because it wasn't labeled Afrobeats, but it was, I guess, real traditional Nigerian music and yeah, R&B. So so.
Do those Nigerian influences pop up in what you do now with Audio Coming Soon, or is it a different?
Not really per se for me. But what I tend to find is a lot of especially the houseier stuff that we play. It tends to have a Yoruba mix to it. So if you download like a certain song, it will have like a original mix, a chill mix, and then there's always like a Yoruba mix.
Right.
That's like a key word. I don't know why, but yeah, a lot of people remix songs.
Make them sound like Afro.
Yeah, but they, instead of writing Afrobeat mix, they put Yoruba mix, which is quite interesting.
Okay. Which is interesting because calling it a Yoruba mix removes Africa from it.
Yeah, but I guess the people who are actually remixing the songs probably draw from a Yoruba kind of vibe, I guess, in order to give it a name of a Yoruba mix. Instead of
but I guess if you know of Africa, then you would know that Yoruba is the language of Nigeria.
Exactly. I feel like real music heads who like really, dissect music and travel and, immerse the music, understand, the cultural difference between like Yoruba, to like, Tree, which is Ghanaian, or, something that's South African.
Have you been back to Africa at all?
Yeah, I've been to Nigeria a few times when I was younger. I need to definitely go back sometime soon. It's been a while.
Which is interesting because you guys have traveled all over the world, Paris, Milan, Los Angeles, New York. So,
Likewise. Likewise, you too.
Likewise, yeah. But I haven't been to Africa, and it's interesting because as a Black man from America, I feel like I've had this. I've been poisoned against Africa. I think in America we're not really taught a lot about our African heritage and our culture because of obviously slavery and stuff of that nature. So I would love for you, as someone who's traveled the world, and Ashton, you can speak to this as well. From your travels, how do you think that people should, from being in Africa, from your experience, what does Africa represent for you?
I mean, Africa's like when someone speaks about Africa, like I feel like it's so not naive. Naive's not the right word, but in America, you're told if you're a Black male, you're an African American, right? But and a lot of American men, like you said, you don't know your ancestry and your roots and stuff. But Africa is so much bigger than just being a Black man. Like, for example, in North Africa, where it's predominantly Arabic countries, the Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, and also Mauritius and Madagascar, the little islands in the African continent, and they're a melting pot of so many different people. So I feel like to be from Africa is not one representation.
Yeah, and I think that is like a massive case because a lot of people don't watch Nollywood, so it's like, what do you really see when you put on the TV and you watch a depiction of Africa? Mm-hmm. It's either charity or it's the news. You don't really get a sense of like real authentic Africa. And like Ashton said as well, like we went to Morocco last year for work, and that was the first time I was there personally. Mm-hmm. And I would speak to the Moroccan men who are obviously Arabic, fair skin, and you would speak to them, and the way they would respond to you and the words they would use, like my African brother, or like just certain things, and you have to kind of remind yourself that, wow, this is actually Africa too. Yeah. So it's things like that, it's just understanding that, like Ashton said, is Africa is way more broad than it is, than it is like a dark-skinned male and like safari.
I love what you said about African brother, like having a Moroccan say that you're an African brother, because I kind of see your relationship with Ashton as this amazing bromance, and I would love to talk about how do you guys remember the moment that you met? Like, what do you remember that specific moment when you met? Because you met when you were modeling.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely moments within the times we met. I don't think there's like a key moment, but yeah, we met via an agency we were with at the time called AMCK, headed up by Aisha and Patrick, and yeah, we met through them, and it was brief, I guess, wasn't it? It wasn't like a real moment in that sense. And then yeah, we probably had another moment when we shot together.
Yeah, for a magazine. Our friend Lloyd Purcell, who lives in LA, he shot the magazine. It's called Suspend Magazine, and it was an editorial that we were actually doing as models together. And then I think from there we just carried on hanging around. We'd go to the same castings, we'd have shoots together. As you do when you're models and you're with the same agency, you hang with the same groups. So right. I think from there we just carried on, and then one day we were in Milan. and this is how Audio Coming Soon was born. We were in Milan at Philip Plein party, and we were there, and we were just like taking it in. It was this crazy party. Like I was 18, I think at the time. It was the craziest thing I've ever been to since then. Like it was insane. It was an empty swimming pool, and there was a bar at the bottom of the swimming pool, and there was people on jetpack. It was just insane. Like money pumped into it.
Very, very Philip Plein. Very. What he's known for being so ostentatious and
yeah, but it worked because everyone wants to be at the party, and like the queue was insane, and you couldn't get in. So we were in there, and then we'd spoken before about touching on music and like how we'd love to start DJing, and then I think from there we realised what, as a DJ or as an artist, what you can make a crowd do and what kind of vibe you can bring to a party, and we saw that there, and yeah, I think from there that's how Audio Coming Soon was born, really.
I mean, what would you guys say is the fuel of your friendship?
I mean, I feel like me and Ashley just have a lust for life, you know. We both have a lust for life, and it's like, I guess it's infectious when you're around people who, you know, they want to experience more, they want to taste more, they want to, you know, they want to live more, they want to always work harder. I
think it's about also, yeah, like Emmanuel said,
it's infectious.
Yeah, like wanting to do better, wanting to make people around you do better and grow and travel.
So yeah, I think that's where we bond. That's where our bond kind of thrives from.
Is that the same thing that kind of fuels your business as well? Like transitioning from, you know, because that's always can be a precarious transition, transitioning from being friends to being business partners. What are the pros and cons of that? And, you know, how was that transition? Was it natural, or did you?
I think it's very natural, and there's nothing forced. And we're still like, I think we're still in a position where we're transitioning. Like we're always, because Audio Coming Soon is like, there's not one thing. It's like, it's a platform for us to be creatives individually and together. So it's going to be, we're on a journey of transitioning, and it's going to take however many years. So
that's actually a really what Ashley just said. That's actually a really great like quotation line. Like, it's Audio Coming Soon is really a platform for us to be creative, but also for us to be in a position to, you know, make opportunities and give back, essentially. You know, like we started our own night alongside Espojon called Be Present. And yeah, just another moment to be able to say, okay, cool, this is our night. You know, we're going to showcase the best DJs in whatever city. So yeah, it's just an ongoing journey in order to, you know, create in a good way, not to just like create just to do it. Create to actually make change or to raise proper awareness to what we're interested in, you know.
I mean, I want to quickly go back to the modeling before we like dive into the music, because I really want to get into that. But I feel like you guys have a very specific look, the both of you. I think the look is, there was a period when I first moved to London about 10 years ago where British models just became a thing. I don't know if it was because of Ricardo at Givenchy, but like there was just a very specific look. I kind of call it the buffalo look, which is, you know, I don't know if you guys know Ray Petrie, but you know, Ray Petrie was one of the first, you know, stylists in the late 80s and the 90s to use models of color for like Calvin Klein campaigns, Macy's campaigns, and you know, he had the buffalo stance. So when I see you guys, I'm reminded of that. I kind of feel like you still carry that spirit. Talk to me about the spirit of fashion and modeling in general, and at what stage did you realize that you needed to exist outside of that and beyond that?
Obviously, I'm still modeling, Emmanuel isn't, and it's like I do it because it's something that it's not forced, and I'm naturally doing it. Like I'm in a position where I can still work and still do music. So I think to exist outside of it, I just wanted to be. Sometimes as a model, you're labelled and you're boxed into a certain category. And I knew that I never wanted to be a model. It's not something I dreamt of as a kid. It's like, but it's just naturally happened. So I think you get to a certain age where you have other aspirations and things that you want to get done. So for me, it was to be creative with music. So it's about that. For me, it was that transition period of still being a model, but now being a musician and an artist. And trying to balance both of them.
Me and Ashton are obviously fashion forward, just naturally. We love, you know, putting on clothes.
As we all do.
But now, we love you know, being able to communicate via what we're wearing, because that's what fashion is. You know, it's just basically you saying your mood via what you're wearing. So yeah, we love fashion, and if it's not British, then it's Scandinavian. If it's not Scandinavian, then it's, you know, somewhat, you know, American. You know, we love just wearing different threads and just experimenting with fashion, and that's obviously, you know, shaped us as people as well.